There's a quiet kind of pain that lives in the heart of anyone who dares to think deeply. It's the kind of pain that doesn't demand attention. It doesn't shout, doesn't make a scene, but it lingers. It presses down on your soul, subtle yet heavy. It's the pain of seeing the world in ways that most can't or won't. The pain of feeling more than what you're supposed to feel. You sit at a dinner table, the chatter is light, filled with laughter, the sound of plastic smiles and empty words. Someone talks about the weather, another shares some gossip. Everyone nods, plays their part. It's the usual dance of shallow conversation, the kind that doesn't require much thought. But then you speak. You don't mean to disrupt, you don't want to be the one who changes the mood, but suddenly the room grows still. Your words land differently. Something real slips through, something honest, something that breaks through the surface of this plastic reality. And in that moment, the unspoken truth hangs in the air, thick and uncomfortable. No one laughs, no one knows how to respond. The room shifts, the energy changes, and the conversation goes quiet. And just like that, you're isolated. It's not because you're wrong, it's because you've become a mirror that reflects something others would rather ignore, the truth, the discomfort, the things no one wants to face. This is the quiet pain of those who think deeply. It's the constant recognition of how much of the world is pretending, how much is rehearsed, how much is built on a foundation of illusion. And you see it all. You see the way people put on their happy faces to fit in, the way they ignore their own desires and needs just to conform. You notice the contradictions in what they say versus what they do. You see the cracks in their facades, but they can't see it themselves. You can't unsee it. You see how they've been shaped by forces bigger than them, forces that encourage them to suppress their true selves. And in that moment, you realize just how alone you are. But here's the thing. The deeper you think, the more you see, the more misunderstood you become. It's not because you're broken or flawed, it's because the world isn't built for you. It's built for the people who can follow the script, the ones who can smile when everything is falling apart, who can nod along even when they know something is wrong. It's built for the people who never stop to question. And you can't help but question. You can't help but see. And that's what makes you different. That's what makes you stand out. And because of it, the world will try to silence you. It will try to tell you that you're too intense, too emotional, too deep, too much. But here's the truth. You're not too much. You're just awake. Most people don't think. They live their lives like actors in a play, repeating the lines they've been given, performing the roles they've been assigned. But deep thinkers, they can't follow that script. They can't just go along with the noise. They need something more. They need depth. They need understanding. And because of that, they spend their lives walking a different path, one that's lonely, one that's often filled with resistance. Because society doesn't reward depth. It rewards compliance. It rewards conformity. It rewards the people who blend in, who don't stir the waters too much. The ones who keep their questions to themselves, who don't ask why, who just accept things as they are. And that, my friend, is where the pain begins. The pain isn't in being wrong, it's in being right. It's in seeing the truth and knowing that no one else around you is ready to see it. It's in knowing that the world is built on systems that don't work, systems that oppress, systems that keep people asleep, systems that tell you to ignore your soul and just fit in. But deep thinkers don't fit in. They can't. They're the ones who see through the veil. They're the ones who can hear the unspoken words, feel the unexpressed emotions. They see the cracks in the walls that others ignore. And because of that, they're often cast aside, misunderstood, rejected. But that's okay. Because here's what most people don't understand. Depth is dangerous. Not because it's wrong, but because it's real. And real doesn't make people comfortable. Real makes people think. It makes them feel things they've spent their whole lives avoiding. It challenges their beliefs. It forces them to question everything they've ever known. It reminds them of the things they've buried. And in that space of discomfort, most people run. They run from the truth. They run from the questions they don't want to answer, the fears they don't want to face. But deep thinkers, they don't run. They don't have that luxury, and that's where the loneliness begins. Because when you see things others don't see, when you feel things others refuse to feel, you're left standing alone in a world that doesn't get you. You're left asking questions that no one else seems to care about. And when you try to share those questions, when you try to say the things that are too real for most to handle, you're met with silence, or worse, resistance. People will tell you you're too much. They'll tell you you're overthinking. They'll tell you you're too intense. But here's the thing, you're not overthinking. You're seeing, you're feeling. And that's something most people can't do. But even though it's painful, even though it's isolating, there's something powerful about being awake in a world that's asleep. Because when you're awake, you can see things clearly. You can see through the illusions that the world is built on. You can see the systems that are holding people back, keeping them small. You can see the ways in which people are being manipulated, controlled, distracted. And you know that you can't stay silent. But that's the catch, isn't it? Because when you speak the truth, when you say the things that others won't, when you bring light to the shadows, you make people uncomfortable, and that discomfort turns into rejection. It turns into silence. It turns into a distance that grows wider and wider between you and the people around you. So you're left wondering, why does this happen? Why is it so hard to be real in a world that's built on illusions? Well, it's because the world is afraid of what it doesn't understand. It's afraid of depth. It's afraid of people who think too much, feel too much, question too much. And so, it tries to silence them. It tries to drown them in the noise, in the distractions, in the surface-level conversations. But deep thinkers, they can't be silenced. Not forever. Eventually, the truth always finds a way to rise to the surface. And when it does, the world will have no choice but to listen. But until then, you'll walk alone. You'll question when others follow. You'll feel deeply when others numb themselves. You'll see things that others refuse to see, and you'll carry the weight of that knowledge. And that's okay, because the truth is, deep thinkers are the ones who change the world. Not the ones who fit in, not the ones who conform, not the ones who follow the rules. It's the ones who question the rules, the ones who dare to see the world as it truly is, the ones who refuse to go along with the lies. Those are the ones who make the world better. And if you're a deep thinker, if you've ever felt too much, if you've ever questioned everything, if you've ever felt like you don't belong, know this, you're not alone. There are others out there, others who think like you, feel like you, question like you, and they are waiting for you to speak, waiting for you to share your truth. Because when deep thinkers connect, when they come together, something powerful happens. The illusion cracks, the truth breathes, and that's when change begins. So, what happens when the deep thinkers unite? What do they do with all the knowledge, all the insight, all the depth they carry? They don't just sit back. They don't simply bask in their enlightenment. Number. They create. They build. They show up in the world differently than the others. They aren't just observers. They're active participants. They're not waiting for the world to change. They're making it happen. You, as a deep thinker, are the catalyst for that change. Even if it doesn't feel like it right now, every small act of awareness you perform makes a difference. Every question you ask, every truth you speak, every moment of clarity you bring, it all matters. And in a world that's constantly distracting itself from the real issues, your voice, your presence, your depth, these are the things that will eventually shift the course of humanity. But it won't happen overnight. It won't happen in a loud, dramatic burst. It will happen in the quiet moments, in the moments when you refuse to stay silent, in the moments when you choose depth over conformity, truth over illusion. And one day, someone will hear you, someone will understand you, and that's when the ripple effect begins. Because the more real you are, the more you allow yourself to be vulnerable and truthful, the more the world will slowly begin to wake up. And when that happens, the world will finally see the beauty of depth, It will understand that real change, real evolution, doesn't come from the surface level. It comes from the depths of our souls. So, stop hiding. Stop pretending. Stop apologizing for being real. The world needs you, not the filtered, safe version of you, the raw, untamed, complex you. That is where your power lies, and slowly but surely, the right people will find you. They're out there. They're looking for someone who sees the world in the same way. Someone who asks the questions no one else dares to ask. You're not alone, and soon enough, you'll find the others. When deep thinkers unite, nothing can stop them. The world changes.